They're very professional and they know a lot about college. And we work together. And I encourage you, if you have any questions to ask me or them. It's a great team. I'll start now. I have about 60 slides to go through. I'll try to be quick. I will not take questions at the end because it can go for a long time. So I'll try to stop at around 8:30. All right? Thank you so much. So let's start. I have my main points are on the board. BHS has many resources to help all seniors make attainable and dignified plans as they move towards BHS graduation. Seniors are in very different places in their process, and that is normal for a school this size and it is diverse. And the final point is probably the most important point from this night. One of the most important. Actually, all 60 slides. But this one is it's students' responsibility to drive this process. Parents and BHS councils are here to help, guide, and keep the process moving, but students need to take the lead about next steps. And I know it's really hard being a parent. I'm a parent of a sophomore. I used to do a lot of screaming every night. So my son loves playing on the computer. But it is really hard to step back and let them guide the process. It's really hard to find that balance. So we'll talk about it during the presentation as well. Everything I say will be on the BHS website, guidance website. So this is the address. You can also Google Brookline Guidance. It's a blog where I post really important announcements, including a copy of this presentation and a video. If you want to see me a second time, I don't recommend it. The senior seminars are a really important part about curriculum. So I gave the same exact presentation to the entire senior class a week ago, and then this week they all have small group sessions with the counselors, with different counselors, but we give the same message. So we go over all the steps, because you'll see some of the steps are more complicated than others. We go over them with the seniors. Today I had a group of about 25 kids. I just started. They had questions non-stop. So the entire 45 minutes, I was answering their questions, went over the entire curriculum. So that was great. We do this week and next week. Each senior will have 2 seminars. And the seminars are in their schedule on their portal. So they have to log in and see when to come for the seminar. All right? If they don't have the seminar in their schedule, it will be given next X block. And then I'll probably also give some sessions for kids who couldn't make it. Okay? All right, so moving ahead, there's a lot of talk about college at Brookline High, but we do have different kids taking different paths, as I said before. This is an updated statistic based on the class of last year. I know some of you came to our junior parent night that had similar slide, but now it's updated for this past class. 82% of our students go to 4-year colleges, and then we see a stable increase of kids going to non-American colleges, which includes Canada. It sometimes presents cheaper opportunities, especially for kids who have dual citizenship. And then 2-year college is also on the rise, and I'll talk in a second about different programs that in particular Massachusetts offers for transfer. And then gap year, 2%, employed 1%, and military 1%. We support all kids here. Kate and I work in the College and Career Resource Center. We help kids find jobs if they want to go to the military, and gap year, so we support every single kid. It's not just about college. So this is the Career Center I mentioned. We're in room 279 and 280. We have 2 rooms now. I'm the college counselor, and Kate is the career counselor. Do you want to say a couple words? Kate will say.
Hi, as Lenny said, I'm the career counselor. This is my 2nd year here, and although some students see me as only a resource for students who aren't going to college, I'm really here for all students. If they need help finding a job, writing their resume, looking for internships and navigating that whole journey, I'm here for all students. So I'm only, unfortunately, here Tuesday through Friday. And I love students to just drop in. Emailing me is a great way to find a time to meet. Lunches, I'm in the Career Center with Lenny. And feel free to email me if you have any questions. I'm pretty responsive. So I hope to hear from all of you and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's continue. I'll start some of the important slides. This is the community college and mass transfer. Actually, I lost my photos. But Massachusetts has a wonderful program called mass transfer, and you can look for it online, that allows students who go to any Massachusetts community college transfer with a certain GPA, and it's usually around 2.5 and automatically transfer to the any Mass State University. Not only this, they have an additional program, I think it's called A2B. I look for it every year with a bunch of kids. There's certain majors you can transfer all the credits and go straight into the major that you would take at community college. One interesting fact when I visited the UMass Amherst, they told me 50% of their new students, not freshman class, 50% of their new students are coming from community colleges. And they found they actually do better GPA-wise than the kids who came in as freshmen. They got to be more serious and they want to do well. So it's a great opportunity to save money. It's a great opportunity to go to community. So this is a value opportunity really here in Massachusetts, mass transfer. Another thing that I really like to point out right away is it's called NACAT list of colleges still accepting in May. It comes out in May, and it's my favorite list because there are over 5,000 colleges in America, one of those. It's a huge number, and the majority of them don't have enough students. So NACAT, the National Association of College Admission Counselors, comes out with a list of schools that are still looking for students, and they're excellent colleges. So when I talk to my seniors, so your children, I always say, there's a lot of hype and stress, but you don't have to be stressed really. There's a college for everybody. We keep saying, everybody from BHS who wants to go to college will go to college. There's a lot of schools. If you read any national news, you will see that the number of students actually goes down. So colleges are actively looking for students. So everybody from here who wants to go to college will go to college. And I'll show you some data that actually shows they go to really good college. If you follow my advice. I just finished reading Tom Brady's book. But Tom Brady. The Gap Year and Postgraduate Year Fair. The Gap Year Fair will be on January 14th at 7 p.m. this year. I run this fair. It's wonderful. We contract with the Gap Fair USA. They bring about 60 different organizations. And Darby and I work really hard to bring some of the organizations that give a lot of scholarships, and also programs like City Year that are completely free. So I highly recommend students to attend this. It's actually open for students and parents. Again, this is very popular among college representatives. They also tell me that kids who come in from the gap year tend to get high grades and better GPA, and they're more mature than kids who go straight to college. So this is definitely one of the more popular options that's on the right, gap year. All right, this is a slide really for students, but I'll go over each step with you as well. The student's responsibility to research school and release transcripts, match common app and Naviance, give self-description form and parent brag sheet to counselor, request teacher record, and release the test. I'll go over each step one by one in the next presentation. This is my slide. I don't have my homework necessarily. My parents forgot to do it. And that's where I usually remind parents to watch your language when you're talking about the process. It is their process. It's their choice where to go to college, and they have to do most of the steps. So just be mindful. All right, so every year we interview our senior class, and we gather statistical data about various different things. So last year's class, this is just brand new data, heard from the college I'm attending from family, about 55% friends, counselor, teacher, college coach, mom, researcher, not attending college. So I especially like this, it's a smaller number of outside college counselors because I really feel that we do a really good job here at BHS without the outside college consultants. This is a good slide to show also that our kids benefit from talking to other friends who coming back from colleges from previous years, from researching in the books, which I'll show some of them. And then the one source for research in colleges that I ran this next 2 months is the BHS rep visits from colleges. So on Naviance, on the college visits, they have a list of every college that comes to Brookline High. We are really popular with colleges. When I tell other high schools how many schools we have coming in, they can't believe it. We have 206 colleges visiting BHS. I have at least one college every block in my college and career center, in our college and career center. Students can take, get an excuse note from the teacher to attend those visits. They are usually done by the reps who run our area for the college. So they're the people who usually make the decisions. So it's really, really advantageous to go to those sessions. I do get a lot of calls from parents about the visits. So I just wanted to quickly show you. We also, on the Brookline High School website, the main page, if you just click on block BHS and PTO calendars, you can scroll down and you can see all the college visits. Unfortunately, my scrolling doesn't work, but you can see them here on the right-hand side. I list all of them for all 200 are listed here. So just BHS webpage, that's where parents can see who's coming in. That's an excellent resource for our students. I do remind them that classes and senior experience is more important than attending those sessions. So if you have a test or a quiz where your teacher says it's not a good time to miss the session, miss the class, don't go to the session. They can also just come in, put their name in, and say, I have a test, I can't attend. It still looks good. Okay? So it started last week, and I've had pretty good attendance so far. And it's been small sessions, so kids were able to ask directly questions and talk to the reps. So that's a great resource here, especially since you don't have to travel to meet with the representative. And even if you travel to college, sometimes you don't meet the same people who make the decision. This is my two favorite books on researching schools: His Guide to Colleges and Princeton Review, Best 384 Colleges. I highly recommend getting them in the library or buying them. They are virtually the same from year to year, so getting them in the library, a little older edition, will be the same thing. And then my favorite search tool is Naviance. Naviance is a program that our students had since their freshmen. So at this point, all of them should be able to log in. Today I had a couple of seniors who came in asking for a password. They both were transfers to our school from last year. So if your child doesn't have a password, doesn't know how to log in, send them to me or to the guidance counselor. We'll be happy to put them on Naviance. On the college staff, they have the Super Match, College Match, Scattergrams, Advanced College Search, and College Lookup. If you had a student here before, you would notice that this has changed. They updated it for 2018, so now you can see Naviance on your handheld device. So the screen's changed a little bit. It's virtually the same material. I really like the Supermatch College Search. It allows you to put in different criteria, like location, academics, admissions, diversity, institutional characteristics, and cost. And they'll give you a lot of schools, and they'll tell you what percentage match it is to your profile. Another, that's a little bit new search engine that I like, It's called college match. That's where our students can, it tells them college is looking for students like you. So this is my fake student, I just created a fake profile, same sample. Nichols College, University of Oxford. And then college, other students like, and colleges that have accepted students like you, which is really an interesting tool for us to show students what are some of the match or likely schools are. All right, you've seen this slide last year. It's my favorite slide, most important slide of the presentation, this one. We are asking all our seniors to apply to several reach, several safety, several match, and several reach schools. I've seen a lot, the only time I've seen a lot of stress and heartbreak is when they apply to 7 schools that are reached by everyone and no safety. As long as you follow this advice, it's a pretty smooth process. And I'll show you data in a minute about where most of our kids get it. But it's paramount that they have several safety, several match, and several reach schools. All right? As Eric Schiff always tells me, remind parents that you also need a financial safety school. That's a school where you get in, it's a safe school to get in, and then you can afford it. All right, so the concept of financial safety is really important as well. So where do we look for safety, match, and reach? Again, on Naviance, we plot every student for the past 10 years, but it displays data for the past 5 years. Every student, their GPA and their SAT scores or ACT scores. So GPA is on the y-axis, this is the x-axis. For every university where students apply. X is the little green mark, check mark, is the students who got in. X are students who didn't get it. So this is, and then they display the student themselves. So this is Sam Sample and his profile, I don't know, about 1100 here. So it's a student I created. It's a very, very clear visual for our students. So this is clearly a safety school for Sam. Because he is getting in here. There's nobody who will ever deny who is like him. Okay, so Sam now is here. It's the same exact data, same exact scores, same exact GPA. But students who are getting in are here. Again, I have students coming in and they're like, oh, but I always dreamed of this school. And I don't say that you don't have a chance to get in. Because every child working hard at BHS should have several reach schools, several match, several reach, several safety. All right, so that's the way I talk to them. I say, you know, if you want to make it one of your reach schools, you could do it. Because who knows? Maybe they are looking. Like my son, he plays 9 hours of computer games. Maybe they're looking for computer games every day. Maybe not. You can see it's a painting dog. So you never know, but every kid at BHS should apply several reach, several match, several safety. The difficulty is if you apply to all schools like this, where you're so far away from. Most frequent questions, Mr. Lewis, if I apply early and my parents pay the full price, would they take me? No, I don't think that would help. This is still, you know, very far away. It's a big leap. And this is the match. And this is my favorite graph because it's UMass Amherst. Because one of the students today asked me, do you want all of us to go to UMass Amherst? I just feel like it's a great value right now. It's about 30,000 with the campus. Every major is there. And in terms of value, unless you're a Canadian citizen, this kid was actually a Canadian citizen who asked me that. Unless you're a Canadian citizen, I don't think you can do better. But that's why I always say, you know, it's a great school. And our kids do really well. About half or more of our students apply to UMass, and then they take about half of those kids, so about 250 apply, 125 get in, and about 25 to 30 go. Again, this is just my opinion, it's not the opinion of the whole department. I just represent myself here. But this is the University of Maine. I just wanted to show a couple of graphs that I like those. I like this University of Maine. They have a lot of ads. You've probably seen them. They're gonna match the UMass tuition for certain with a certain GPA. I think it starts like a 3. And they really like our school. Basically, most of the kids applying over the past 5 years got it. They have an amazing engineering program as well. There are so many graphs like this on Naviance that show how well our kids do applying to college. There's no, if you see those graphs, you'll be less impressed. We're doing really well. And I do have parents who go for 5,000 graphs on Naviance. They have a lot of time to sit and work. I don't recommend doing that, but we're doing really, really well with this college. And then I always show this NYU. So every year there's some schools that are really, really popular. So last year was actually a different school, but NYU is always popular. Across the country, they have 70,000 applications. It also costs about 70,000. And Sam is still here. And when I talk to Sam, there is a chance he might get it, and he's right here. But this school is not going to give him any merit aid because his grades are not like here. So it's unless the family has a lot of money or they looking for significant financial aid, it might not be the best school. But it's very popular, there's a lot of kids applying. I'm just showing those graphs for you to see how you can use Naviance to kind of modify your list and get the several match, several regions, several safety schools. Your counselors are here to help with that list. I'm here to help. Usually ask that students see their counselor first before they see me. Because the counselors know a lot more about the student than I do. But we're all here to help. The GPAs on Naviance have been updated, uploaded new ones last week. So now you can see if your child took the standardized test, you can do the correct graph. And you can see we asked our students last year, how would you categorize the college that you're attending? About 22% of our kids get into the REACH school, which is a great number if you think about it. 60% get into match or target schools, and then another 18.5 so get into the safety school. So I feel like we're doing pretty well. I don't have a mathematical education, but I feel it's kind of like a bell curve. The college that I'm attending is my first or second choice school, 60%, almost 60% of kids. Third and fourth choice school, 28. Fifth or lower choice school is 10. Another thing was 5%. So we're doing well here. All right, now parents usually love the next several slides because I have statistics. College class of 2017, that's 2 years ago, and then I'll show you 18. I sorted it by number attending. UMass Amherst, you can see this is apply, accept, attend. You can see the numbers we have. And this is the class of 2018. And you can see the class was, on Naviance, is about 30 kids more. But you can see there are a lot more applications, and I'll show that in a second too. The Common App made it really easy to apply. You can now apply from your cell phones. So nationally, we're seeing the same thing here as nationally. There are fewer kids and they're applying to more schools. Because they're applying to so many schools, the acceptance rates go down just because they accept fewer kids relative to the number of kids applying. But you can see we're still UMass Amherst BU. UMass Boston went up. I think it was, no, it's actually in third place. Northeastern, and then Simmons, NYU, Brandeis, Mass Bay, and then we have a bunch of schools where the 6 kids attend. But to the point of increasing applications, so this is the school that became super popular last year. I don't know why. Every class has like one school that they go to, they love it. It's really hard to get into UMass. Extremely hard. But we had tons of kids applying. Clark, Northwestern, Boston, Columbia. We had a huge number of kids applying to Harvard. So it's the same number of kids getting into all those schools as before, but the acceptance rate drops. And that's, again, it's national. So Darby made a very good point the other day talking to me. It's really important to stress out applying to schools that are not your brand name schools, applying to different schools. Make sure you look outside of the sort of, this type of school. Because if we send so many applications to those schools, inevitably it drops that acceptance rate down. I don't know if you've heard, but the Northeastern was 19% acceptance rate, and BU was around 20%. And I don't think it's because they're so hard to get in. It's because so many kids are using the devices to just click more schools. I've seen that just the number went up. I recommend applying to several safety, several match, several reach. Don't go on above that 10 school. All right? We want you to have fun as long as it's fun that enhances the college admission application. So the next several slides, I'll just go more technical about the Common App and Naviance. So you know what your child needs to do. We go over this wisdom in a lot more detail and help them a lot. But Common Application is wonderful. It's a great tool for them to be organized. A lot of colleges, I think over 600 colleges accept the Common App. Just do one application, apply with it to a lot of colleges. It's very easy to create an account, you sign in, and then application itself, this is the application to do personal information, address, things like this, and then on the left-hand side, a different tab. It allows you to select if your child feels that they cannot pay the fee, they can select that they need financial help to pay for the Common App because they need to pay for each college you're applying to. And those are, some of the colleges charge 70 to 80 bucks or more. All right, there's a small technical detail that's, today at the seminar, most of my seniors already done it. So it sounds more complicated when I just talk about it, but we need them to sign the FERP release, which means they allow us to send the documents to colleges. We cannot, federal government prohibits us from sending it without the student's signature. You can only do it after you've completed the education section and put in Brookline High as your school. And then you click on this FERPA and recommenders, and it takes you to the FERPA release authorization form. You click on it, and you basically sign off that you allow us to send documents. Another thing that it asks, they kind of combine it together, is if the student waives the right to inspect the recommendations after they admit. And most of the colleges expect the students to waive that right. If you don't waive that right, colleges feel like the recommendations were not as sincere. Now, when we designed this, had the good knowledge of teenagers, and it made it impossible to go back if you mistakenly put I don't waive the right. We have to create a whole new Common App. So we tell students all the time, just waive your right to look at it. All right, and I tell them, when you're in college, you're not going to go to admissions office to look at those recommendations, because you won't care. All right, so it's really important. After they've done that, they go to Naviance and My Colleges. There is a button there to link your Naviance account to the Common App. It's actually done, both platforms are done by the same company, Hobson. So all you need to do is enter your email, and the date of birth will be already there. The child's date of birth will be there. Just enter the email that I used in Common App, and it links Naviance to Common App. And now we can send documents to colleges that the student has in Common App. All right? There's a new twist in all of this, in that there's a new application out there. It's called Coalition Application, which is a competitive Common Application. And it's good to have competition. Now, we recommend all kids to apply with Common App. But there are 4 schools that only take Coalition. And that's University of Florida, Maryland, Washington, and Virginia Tech. In particular, Maryland seems to usually have a good number of students applying. So the good news is that coalition paid Navient, and we can send everything from Navient to the coalition schools as well. So it doesn't really affect us that much. And I tell the students, if you're applying for coalition, stop by if you have any questions. They fill out the coalition application, send it out. The only difference is that we send everything through Navient. Okay? My room is incorrect here, I'm in room 2A. But if you have any questions about coalition app or any, if a college has its own application, you can always email me and I'll be happy to go over. Quick fun break. When I was visiting this summer, I was traveling with my son, and I said I'm a college counselor to this family, and the father says, "Oh my God, we're visiting college, my senior. You should see what they have." And he started describing me at Washington State. They have a nap zone where you have a pod where you can sleep. And it made me think about this new thing. If you visit schools, a lot of them now sort of pitching their lifestyle. It's not just academics. They have Starbucks on campus in 24 hours, college centers and nap zones. So I was kind of funny, but then he said, well, they also have this activity spaces where they have, besides nap zone, they have a food washing station. So I'm always wondering, where does the money go? It's so much, it costs so much. Well, sometimes you can buy a food washing station. So, and I tell all the students, when you're visiting colleges, ask about academics too. Actually, that guy was funny. He said to me, what happened to this college experience where you come into your room and it's brick wall and just classes and you're alone there? So that was when we went to college. Different now. All right, back to the difficult stuff. Letters of recommendations. Please give teachers enough time to write them. Ask teachers at least 4 weeks in advance. And this is the same for counselors. Only with counselors, so colleges expect all the documents to come with the counselor letter. The counselor letter is a letter we write. We start writing that letter when your child releases their transcript. That means they give us an official form that just has the name and address of the college and their name, they sign off. So we know that's where they are applying. Because otherwise we don't know. So they need to come in and they need to do it 4 weeks before the deadline. So for example, if November 1st deadline you need to release by, the child needs to release by October 5th. November 15th, October 19th. So it's pretty easy. 4 weeks before the deadline. Sounds easy, I know, but with teenagers, they have the January 15th deadline. They come in December 24th before we close the school and leave. And none of the counselors write over the holiday break. So we stress multiple times to them, release your transcript 4 weeks in advance. Tell your teachers at least 4 weeks. We need to write that letter. We need ample time to write a good letter. When you're meeting with the council to release the transcript, the council will need the parent brag sheet, and that's on you to submit that brag sheet. I love what parents write. I always have a caseload of seniors. We have great letters. I learned so much from them that I didn't learn before. I always say this example where I had a student who was a concert pianist. He was terribly ashamed of it. He played at Carnegie Hall. Nobody in the building knew. And then his mom wrote it to me, and I was like, oh my God, this will enhance this application. So I mentioned it. So brag sheet is invaluable. Student self-description form is on Navient, and then the release form is on our offices, and it's $1 plus fees per student. This is the parent brag sheet, pretty easy. Outstanding accomplishments. I love the 5 adjectives. What would they be? And what are some outstanding personality traits? Question 5 is really important. Are there any unusual personal circumstances affecting your child's educational experience? So a lot of, you learn a lot from those, and the only thing I have to say, I always stress out, only write here what you are comfortable with seeing in the college grant. If you're not comfortable, just say, please don't mention it. Okay? It's a collaborative experience. We want to write the best grant possible. We always write for every child extremely positive recommendation. So just assume, I tell my parents, assume everything you write in this form that I can use. unless you tell me not to use them. All right. To the teacher, I always recommend asking if you will write me a good recommendation so that you can say, no, I can't write a good one. Because a lot of them will say yes, well, not a lot of them. Most of our teachers write excellent recommendations and provide a list of colleges to the teacher. And don't ask more than 2 teachers for recommendations. A lot of colleges limit. I have a limit at 2. So if you ask 3, we cannot control which ones go in. So it is a difficult situation. So I recommend asking 2 teachers for recommendations, and usually in most circumstances, those are the teachers from the junior year. We do things a little differently from other schools in that we don't allow students to just enter their teachers and their NAMIAs to request recommendations. They have to go personally to the teacher, have that conversation, and then teacher goes into NAMIAs and adds them. All right, because we want them to have that conversation. We don't want them just adding random teachers. You have to talk to the teacher, and then the teacher adds them. The good news is that with this NAMIAs, now the student can see what the status of their letter is. They can see it's in process, if the request has been made, and if it was submitted. So it's really a good system. I like it in this school that you have to talk to your teacher. There's also other recommender. This is on common application. You can, if you want to choose an outside person, you can click on other recommender and add their email. They'll get an email and they can submit the application on their own through the common app. Colleges always tell me the thicker the file, the thicker the applicants. They don't really like a lot of extra recommendations. They're academic institutions. They want to see the teachers. I only recommend adding something outside if the person really knows your child well and can add something significant to their file. Just because a senator writes you a letter, it doesn't mean anything unless the senator really knows you and works with you. So don't write just generic, don't get generic letters. Okay? That's what we tell our students. All right, so before I go into more, I want to show that I was at college, I'm attending early decision about 70% of our kids, and early actions around 18. So altogether early is about roughly half of the class, and same for regular decision, another half were accepted regular, because that's another topic that comes up. And I'll talk about, in a short while, I'll talk about different decisions that we have. This is IEP, the context IEP2. So I'm going to talk a little bit really quickly about standardized tests. Fairtest.org has now over 1,000 colleges that don't need standardized tests. We just got an email today, it was awesome. Colby College no longer requires standardized tests. I left college as well. So more and more schools don't need standardized tests. They take out kids, a lot of the kids use it because they have high GPAs, but they don't do well on tests. Colleges would rather take a student with high GPA without tests, because then they just report the GPA, their ranking goes up, everybody's happy. So more and more kids are applying without standardized scores. I tell kids all the time, don't worry if you don't do too well. A lot of kids don't do too well on those tests. So I think in the future it will be fewer and fewer. There will be more and more schools that accept you without the scores. It's really good news for this class. That said, we don't add scores to our transcript. They have to go to SAT College Board or ACT student and release them officially on their own. More and more colleges now allow you to self-report the scores. Common App asks you for your scores. You can self-report them and then send the official score after you're in, so you can save money that way. But you have to check on each website if they allow that option. But we don't report the scores. All right, there are 3 types of admissions. There's the regular decision, which is you apply by January 15, you get the decision by April 1st. Then you have time to compare financial aid, visit schools, and you choose by May 1st. You can apply to as many regular decisions as you like. There's early action, and this is the plan that rewards kids who are highly organized. You apply by November 15th, you get a decision by December 15th. You can compare financial aid with the schools. You have to choose by May 1st. This is also a plan that you can apply to a bunch of schools. Early action. So just rewards if you have a son or a daughter who's highly organized, they can apply early, here early, and be done with the process a little early. Early decision is the one that's the most difficult. This is a binding decision. If you get into the school, you have to go. And so you can only apply to one school early decision. Now, you apply, similar to early action, apply by November 1st. You're here by December 15th, and the decision is binding. You really don't have a choice. Now, some schools, like BU would say, we give the same financial aid no matter what. Other schools, I have to say, a lot of them are running a business. So if they know you're not going to be comparing financial aid, you have to go, they might not give you the same amount. So if in general you're looking for financial aid, for merit aid, I would recommend early action or regular decision. Early decision is really binding. And you have to, another thing that happens, you have to know they really love the school. Because every year, well, I had a child who came into me the day before the decision was out and asked me to call the school to tell them not to send the decision to her because she no longer wants to do her decision. She has a new school that she loves. All right, so it's really important that you love the school and that you can afford the school. And also, as I showed you the graph, remember how I said applying early is not going to help if you're that way, you know, if you're way below what they take. So it's not going to help you that much. If you just need a little bit of a push, like you a little bit, it might help, but not when it's such a big difference. All right? It's a complicated topic for everybody. So I highly recommend your child speaks to the guidance counselor or myself. Finding that early decision when you're 17, 18 and applying to just one school and knowing you have to go there, there's a lot, it's hard. I kind of like early action and regular decision much better. By the way, UMass Amherst has November, I believe November 1st early action, where you can apply, give back, and you don't have to go. And a lot of other schools do it as well. Very few slides left. In terms of the essay, we have a wonderful PTO workshop on the essays this Saturday, right? 29th of September. And I always recommend to students to write several rough essays. It's a lot easier to do than to write one essay and then work on them. The hardest part, there's a 650 word maximum on the Common App, 7 topics. It's important because it used to be 6, but now they've added 7th topic, which is write anything you like. Past, our seniors had to write one of the 6, but now they can just attach whatever they want. We do help them with that. I love to look at essays, so do counselors. The hardest essays are the ones that are school specific. So in Common App, once you add the school, each school has some called questions, and they can ask their own questions. And usually those are small questions, about 250 words, but they're difficult. So this is one of the colleges asking, what is square one, and can you actually go back to it? You know, it's kind of fun to look at it, but if you apply it to college and everything writes in its answer, it's not as much fun. So I always recommend to seniors, add the school and Common App right away. See what they have for those questions. MIT requires, instead of one big essay, I think it requires 5 little ones. I had kids actually not apply to MIT because they don't want to write 5 essays. Same with Tufts, they have really difficult essays. University of Chicago has a competition among its students for the undergraduate essays. They have really cool essay topics. But it's still a lot of writing, and it's an unusual writing. So look at it as soon as possible. We do have that workshop coming up, so it's a great time to look at it as well. We do have, because there's so many kids, remember how I said there's fewer kids, applying to more schools. So I go to national conferences every year, and colleges talk about now they put They used to put very few kids on the wait list. Now they put thousands of kids on wait list because they don't know which kids will remain. So a lot of our kids get wait lists. So expect there's an expectation that a child might be on some wait list. What it means is that you are good enough to get into the school, but you can get in if some of the admitted students will say that they're not coming. It can take a long time. So first they tell you the decisions to place you on wait list, you have to accept that wait list, and that means you can go through the summer. I had a student accepted off the wait list at end of August. So it's not for everybody, and frankly, education is very similar in a lot of the colleges. So sometimes it's just easier for the senior to make up their mind and go to the good enough school, not wait on the wait list. That said, if you really, the guidance counselor can call to one waitlisted school and tell them that this child, if he's off the wait list, he or she will go to that school. All right? It doesn't really happen that often, but sometimes it does. So we are able to call one school. The deferrals is when you're applying early and you're not denied and not waitlisted, you are deferred to regular admission. So you don't need to reapply, but they want to look at your child's application again through the regular admission. So we've seen a lot of deferrals as well. Again, for this class, I expect the same thing. A lot of wait lists, a lot of deferrals. Okay? We'll get to it later on in the year. I get a lot of calls, and I'm happy to help. The main thing about deferrals and waitlists is you need to maintain your grades. You need to keep your grades the same level as when you apply. I tell our seniors, the first 3 years we send only final grades. This year, for senior year, we send your first term grade and your second term grade. And if you defer the waitlist, it's really important that you continue working hard at BHS. All right, financial aid, it will cost $100,000 to send me to college, but I'll stay home for 50. And then usually the funny slides. This is just the merit awards. We ask our kids get quite a bit of money. And this slide, how much factor was money in your decision to college? One successful or no. Major factor, important is roughly 20% for each category. And I'd say over the past several years, more and more students base their decision on money, just because the cost of college is so high. And when they lucky enough to apply, say, early action, when they can compare different financial aid and merit packages, they usually choose the school that is more affordable. We will have financial aid night coming up October 17th in the auditorium. We have a wonderful representative from Massachusetts Educational Financing Authority. I don't know if any of you went last year. We usually invite junior parents as well. She's going to be here again. I can't recommend her enough. She's really, really helpful. And she'll talk about all the different things related to financial aid. One thing I have to say is that FAFSA is the federal form. Majority of schools ask for it. You need to fill it out after October 1st. Schools ask for it if you need financial aid. This is also a way to get every student in America, the citizen, can get the government loan up to, I think, first year $5,500. We'll talk more about the financial night, but you need to fill this form out if you want the loan, that small loan. FAFSA.ed.gov, available October 1st. It's super improved in the last 2 years. You can now upload link it to your taxes, upload your taxes right there, and it's it will automatically fill it out. It also asks for prior year, so it will ask you for the year they already did the taxes for. Another form is a CSS profile. That's perhaps an important slide as well. This is the form that's used by, in addition to FAFSA, by the private schools. It asks you for a lot more than just than FAFSA. Asks about more assets, asks about, I think, 401ks as well. The key here is that we have a lot of scholarships at BHS. And we use this form to base out decisions on some of the scholarships. So if you're applying for Brookline High scholarships, which all you should do, you need to fill out that form. So I highly recommend everybody to do this form. This one is not free, but it's, I think, 20 bucks to send it to each place, roughly that number. All right, but if you're applying for BHS scholarship, we will need this form, CSS profile on the college, as well as some of the private schools will use that form. You can also use fastweb.com. I love that site for scholarships. NIFA has some scholarships, and then BHS scholarship. I will send out, and Darby will send out the announcement about BHS scholarships later in the year. So that usually happens in January. That we send that announcement. You can fill out the form. It's a very short application. It's not just financial aid scholarships. A lot of it is based on merit, and a lot of our scholarships are based on being a participant at Brookline High. So it's really a range of different scholarships that we need. All right, I just have this phone that I really like. I'm not going to read it. But thank you so much for attending this night. There was a lot of slides, but I think I gave all the information. I just love this last lines. We all squeeze this moment until you disappear the freshman door, kiss us and yesterday goodbye, and hugging newborn notion so tomorrow. All right, well, I hope you have a good night, and thank you so much.